Is there really an advantage to Medicare Advantage? Well, today we're going to answer that question. Stay tuned, watch all the way to the end to know the pros and cons and the truth behind Medicare Advantage. So if you're on Medicare or about to be on Medicare, I'm sure that you have heard a lot about Medicare Advantage. You've seen advertisements all over the place, on television, in your mailbox, from phone call solicitations, whatever you might want to think of or bring up, you probably have seen it advertised to you in some way, shape, or form because there's a lot of emphasis nowadays in 2021 on Medicare Advantage. Well, let's first talk about what Medicare Advantage truly is. When someone has Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B, they have medical coverage through the government. Medicare Part A covers certain medical expenses. Medicare Part B covers other medical expenses. They work together like two pieces of a puzzle to provide you medical coverage when you get onto Medicare. Now, they don't cover 100% of what Medicare covers. They cover typically 80% and leave 20% for you to pay. Medicare typically also doesn't cover things like prescription drug coverage, dental, vision, hearing, amongst other things. So there are programs and plans available through insurance companies that you can pick up to kind of fill in these gaps and kind of give you more of complete coverage, if you will. Now, one way a person can go is they can pick up a Medicare supplement plan and pay monthly premiums to kind of pay the 20% that Medicare leaves behind. But other people choose to go with what's known as a Medicare Advantage plan. It's kind of the other side of the coin to the Medicare supplement equation. Now, a Medicare Advantage plan can best be explained by essentially when you sign up for one, you're going to run your Medicare through a private insurance company. So let's say you find an insurance company that's offering a Medicare Advantage plan. This Medicare Advantage plan, in a sense, becomes your Medicare. You run your Medicare through it. They come through and they take full responsibility of paying out your bills and your claims from that point going forward. Medicare doesn't pay anything any longer. Now, this takes a huge burden off of Medicare's shoulders, as you probably can imagine. They don't have to pay 80% of your bills any longer. And so because of this, they agreed to fund this insurance company, whichever one you pick, every month in order to take care of you. Nowadays, they typically get, depending on your source, anywhere between $800 to $1,000 a month per person in funding. So they make a lot of money. Because of this, they typically can offer plans in a lot of places in our great country for no premium whatsoever, meaning that they don't charge you anything. This is why you see all the advertisements for free this, free that, $0 premium plans. Now, this does not mean that you don't have to pay your Medicare Part B premium, which is $148.50 a month in 2021. You still have to pay that unless you're in a lower income bracket and a program like Medicaid pays that for you. That would be the exception. Now, there are certain types of Medicare Advantage plans that will reimburse a portion of your Part B premium back into your Social Security check, but that is a topic for another day. So let's get into the pros and cons of Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Advantage plans combine everything into one plan, opposed to a Medicare supplement that you have to purchase everything separately. With a Medicare Advantage plan, you get your medical, your prescription coverage. A lot of times Advantage plans will come with some kinds of dental, vision, hearing coverage, and a lot of extra benefits that Medicare may not come with, all wrapped neatly together into one plan. And it typically, like I said, doesn't cost anything. And if it does cost something, in most places it's not going to cost much. It might cost $20 a month, $30 a month, $40 a month, in addition to your Medicare Part B premium. So you might be asking me, Christian, this might sound too good to be true. I don't have to pay anything and I get all these extra things. What's the catch? Well, here is the catch. Let's talk about the good of Medicare Advantage first and foremost. The good of Medicare Advantage can best be explained as low premiums. You don't have to pay much for it, and you do get better coverage than what Medicare is going to offer you in and of itself. The medical coverage can best be explained as you pay co-pays when you go to the doctor, when you go to the hospital, when you use the plan. So essentially, instead of paying 20% of a bill, you might just be limited to a set copay for most things. An example might be you might be paying a $5 copay for a primary care doctor visit. It might cost you $30 to $40 for a specialist visit. It could potentially cost you $80 to $90 for an emergency room visit. If you spend the night in the hospital, your copay could be $100 a night, it could be $150 a night, it could be $200 a night, or it could be $300 or $400 a night, depending on your area and depending on the plans available. Now, this is typically going to go on for the first 5, 6, 7, or 8 nights, and then after that, they pay 100% if you're still in the hospital for an unlimited amount of days. So they limit your costs down to these finite copays instead of paying it as a percentage-based bill, which actually saves you a lot of money in the long term. Now, it's not going to be as good of coverage as a Medicare supplement would be, because a Medicare supplement, you're double covered. Medicare is your primary and the supplement is your secondary, but you also pay a much higher premium for Medicare supplement, whereas an Advantage plan, you might get away with paying none at all. Medicare Advantage plans typically are going to come with a lot of extra benefits, like I said, so dental coverage, vision coverage, hearing coverage. Now, this is going to range dramatically between one plan to another. Some come with a bunch, some come with just a little bit, but most plans nowadays are going to come with some kind of dental, vision, and hearing benefits. It's common nowadays that with Medicare Advantage plans that you can get over-the-counter item essential coverages, which is essentially programs that will help you pay for things like aspirin, ibuprofen, fish oil, Band-Aids, vitamins, all kinds of stuff. That is a really, really cool benefit. Most Medicare Advantage plans will help pay for gym memberships nowadays. Most Medicare Advantage plans come with a little bit of extra preventative care, like a physical every year that Medicare might not cover. Medicare covers a physical in your first 12 months. They call it your Welcome to Medicare physical, but after that, they won't pay for one any longer. They'll pay for what's known as a wellness visit, which is a less detailed physical. Most people want the real thing. So I'd say the pros of a Medicare Advantage plan is extra benefits, little to no extra premium on your part, and it's all in one plan, all wrapped together in one neat package, so it's a little bit less confusing for the average person. You have one card to show for everything. Now, with every good, we also have some bad, so let's talk about the bad and the negatives that have to do with Medicare Advantage plans. The negatives would be, if you use the plan a lot, since you're paying a per instance basis on the copays, the more you use it, the more copays you're going to have. Now, it's common for Medicare Advantage plans to have what's known as maximum out-of-pockets. This means that there's a safety blanket placed on your plan to how much that you might be responsible for over the course of the year. So it's not like that they can charge you to no limit like Medicare would on its own. But these maximum out-of-pockets can be rather high depending on where you live. Some states, like in California and Florida, might have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 maximum out-of-pockets available, so they're quite minuscule. But in other areas, they might be more around $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 max out-of-pockets, which could potentially put you at risk to spend a lot more out-of-pocket if you get sick. You always hear Medicare Advantage plans might be better for you if you're healthier. That is a lot of times the truth. Because if you use it a lot and you use it enough, you could potentially end up paying a lot more out of pocket than you would with a Medicare supplement. The other negative with a Medicare Advantage plan is they have networks of hospitals and doctors, and they kind of restrict you inside of their network. Now, this is more of an issue with some plans opposed to others. Some plans have large networks where they give you a huge variety of doctors and hospitals that you can go to. Some plans give you in and out of network capabilities, but some plans don't. Some plans have itsy bitsy tiny networks where they restrict you and don't allow you to go to many places. So that really does depend on plan to plan, but you're typically going to be looking at a network with every single Medicare Advantage plan, and this is something that you need to be aware of. You don't want to sign up for a plan that doesn't cover your doctors or doesn't let you go where you want to go. Medicare Advantage plans also might have more restrictions in terms of covering things than Medicare and Medicare supplements might. It's common for a lot of Medicare Advantage plans these days, not all, but some, to have programs like referrals, to where you have to get a referral from your primary care doctor to see a specialist. This can be a real nuisance and a real pain for people on Medicare. That's the last thing they need to deal with. They typically need to get some pre-authorizations to approve surgery, so there can be some extra hoops to jump through that can make them a bit of a nuisance. The other negative about a Medicare Advantage plan is you're locked in for the whole calendar year. You can typically only change during the Medicare annual election period, which is October 15th through December 7th, or the Medicare open enrollment period, which is January 1st, through March 31st. Other than that, you're locked in through the year unless you qualify for a special enrollment period, which would mean you had a life-changing event happen during that time period. Medicare Advantage plans also change their benefits from year to year, so the plan's benefits can go up and down and up and down. There's not as much consistency there, so you might have to adjust and maybe change your plan if it changes to something that you might not prefer. So to wrap up, the negatives of a Medicare Advantage plan is they can change every year. In terms of your benefits, they do have networks of hospitals and doctors you have to stay in. They have more restrictions, and you can only change certain times of the year. What do you folks think? Do you think a Medicare Advantage plan is a good thing or a bad thing? I do think they get overhyped in some instances and they get demonized unfairly in others. I do think they have their place. They have their good and bad to them like everything. And if you enjoyed this video and found it educational, do us a favor, drop a like on this video, comment on what your opinion is on Medicare Advantage plans, and make sure to subscribe for future Medicare information. Have a great day. Take care.